9 years ago, in November 2009, I got the best award I could ever get. I was nominated Engineer of the Year. I am an engineer by heart, and I am a son of an engineer. And my wife, Keka, is as well a telecommunications engineer. So you could imagine the excitement I got. I was Engineer of the Year. So I couldn't wait to run to my house to tell the news. In fact, it was my ego and I who went home to tell the news to my family. I asked them, hey, come to the living room. And even before saying, hello, how are you, good afternoon, I said from my pedestal of pride, I am Engineer of the Year. And my son, my third son, that at the time was 15, he asked me, wow, so you are the best engineer of all the engineers? And I said, well, it's just the telecommunications engineers. And he said, but it's of all the telecommunications engineers of the world? And I said, well, it's of the telecommunications engineers of Spain. And so he said, well, that, I think it's still good. So to some extent, he put my feet on the ground. Today, I'm going to share with you the importance, what I've learned about the importance of connecting with your loved ones to be a better leader. And in my 30 years of experience in leadership position, and the last 5 as a CEO of a very large global business with over 20,000 employees around the globe, what I've realized is the importance of having a balanced perspective between what is happening in life and the other things on everything you do. And the ones that are best placed to provide you help to have that balanced perspective are the ones that are closest to you. My son, in fact, helped me to realize that it was good to be the Engineer of the Year. But that was in the context of the whole population of engineers of the world. And today, sharing that opportunity with all of you is what makes me feel that I can give you a very humble advice. Make sure that you stay connected, that you build, develop, and you never lose the connection to your loved ones, to the ones that are closest to you. In the last 10 months, I have been reflecting in those years of experience. Also, I have been observing some of the other business leaders I know. And I have written a book about the 3 things that I believe, that I found, I call them dimensions, that will make you a better leader. Evangelist, the evangelist dimension, engagement dimension, execution dimension. The evangelist dimension is about creating a vision. It's about ensuring that you have the ambition about what you want to achieve. And you are able to inspire others to make them feel part of it. If you take a family context, it could be having an amazing trip somewhere. So it could be, okay, what is going to be so cool of all of us going together to, let's say, Venice? That is the evangelist dimension. On the engagement dimension, it is about connecting with your stakeholders. It could be customers, it could be employees, it could be investors. When you look to the family context, how you find that in the business space, you make that vision relevant to them, and you do the same in your family environment. So you have a teenager who would love to go party, and you have another one who really enjoys sport. How you make sure that in that vision of the trip, they both find opportunities to really connect to that vision. Evangelist, engagement, and execution. Execution is about making things happen. It's delivering that vision flawlessly. It's making sure that stuff is done. In the family environment, it is having the flight tickets right, it's having nice rooms in a hotel that is well located. So what I've seen is that you have to master getting well balanced and integrated those three dimensions to be a better leader. I met leaders who are brilliant evangelists, people who are really can articulate the vision of the business or their organization. I met very strong leaders executing their plans. But also I've seen a number of people, good number of people failing on their engagement dimension. And this is what I want to touch today, that dimension, and especially focus on the connection, having a strong connection with your loved ones. And I'm going to make a little bit of a zoom into the relationship with my 4 kids. Why? Because connecting, having a great connection with my kids has helped me to be happier, to have more energy. And with that, I was able to work better, to stay more focused, and to have more fun. And why this is important? Because we have one life. In my experience, there is no such thing called work-life balance. And I have a lot of mentoring conversations and chats with other CEOs about this. And I discovered a degree of frustration, something that was painful because of the pressure that that sentence has put in their lives. And it's because we present work and life as two opposite things. And they are not. They are part of the same reality. Otherwise, does it mean that when we are at work, we are not living? Would that mean that if you are in the office, your life stops for that time? It would be really sad because of the amount of time we dedicate to work. So the actual challenge is how we spend our time and how we define the priorities to allocate it. I remember a chat I was having with Richard, that was my sales director at that time. And Richard was saying, you know, Luis, I feel bad. I feel bad because I think I don't spend enough time with my kids. And I told him, Richard, it's not only about the quantity, the amount of time you dedicate. It is also about the quality of that time. It's ensuring that you are 100% all in when you are with them. I'm not going to ask how many times we find ourselves just reading our messages on our mobile devices while we are listening to others. That experience of that one life, it makes very important that we have that connection right. So what can we do? Well, I decided to bring here 3 tips that my wife and I we have been using over years to have and to develop a stronger connection with our kids that can pretty much apply to anything we do in life. The first one is about create special moments. That time in which you build and develop the connections, the relationships. It could be that you are just reading a tale when they go to bed. It could be that you attend and you watch them playing football or field hockey. It could be cooking together, or it could be planning a trip. Our last family trip was going to Cardiff to watch our team playing the final of the Champions League last year. And when you create those special moments, for me, there was one amazing moment, which was dinners. And we used to have dinners probably later than what other people would like or would recommend, because it was like 10 p.m. And those dinners were the moment in which we talk about what was the best thing of the day and the worst thing of the day. And I remember my kids raising their hands like in a competition to be able to share his or her story or her story. And in those moments, you learn about them, but you learn about yourself. And this has helped me a lot when I had needed to come back to them in challenging moments so that we kept that connection, and that has helped me. As a business leader, you can also create special moments. You can create special moments for your team. And you can also encourage them to live their lives fully. Create special moments. The second one is share what matters to you. And I had a chat with Sarah, who was the marketing director of the unit we had in France. And she was telling, well, I cannot get my kids to open up. I asked them, hey, how are you? Fine. Hey, how was school? Yeah, okay. So he was really concerned because he was hardly knowing anything about their lives. So I asked her, how much do you share with them? How much do they know about your work, about your challenges, about your successes, about your concerns? Because if you think that they are not interested, or even that they really don't understand, maybe they think the same. They think, yeah, you are not interested either. You don't understand. And I have an experience in 1998 when I took the responsibility of doing a turnaround of a business that was losing money. I explained my job to my kids, saying, well, my job is to turn red numbers into black numbers. Of course, they have no financial education at the time, and probably they didn't capture very well what meant that, or the complexity of the task. But they knew what mattered to me. They knew that this was important. And from time to time, they came to see and say, hey, Daddy, did you manage to make the numbers black? And it really encouraged me to go after that target even with more energy. But probably, also it encouraged them to be more open and to tell us more stories about the schools, the sports of their friends. Now that they are older, we keep sharing and asking for opinions to each other. It could be about the new job opportunity, or it could be, as these days, about what do you think of the flat we are planning to move in. What you build when they are young is the basis to create an environment of trust and confidence. As a business leader, you can also share what matters to you. And you can build that environment around with your team. But also you can be curious about the people you are working with. What are their motivations? What is in their heart beyond what is in their mind? And that is the opportunity of creating a different environment as a business leader. Create a special moment, share what matters to you, and the third one is make clear choices. I found myself several times struggling of not being brave enough to really make a very clear decision against the priorities that I have defined. When my daughter was 3 years old, she was having a function, festival in her school, and I didn't go to that festival at the end of the scholar year because I had a meeting that Friday in my office. And I was all day regretting not having gone to the festival. So I learned that you have to make choices, conscious choices. If you want to go to the festival, make it clear in your office and say that I will catch up on my emails on Monday. I am going to be there. And these decisions, these choices, they really work in that connection. When I decided to leave my work last year, after 18 years in the same company, it was quite emotional. And I was moved because my kids, now a little bit grown up, they took the decision, they made the choice to be with us the same weekend of the week I announced I was leaving, just so that we could be all together. When you make choices as a business leader, you can help also people to make choices. You can create tools for them so that you can, having things like flexible working, it made it easier for them to really make those choices. So, make sure that you master your 3 dimensions: the evangelist, engagement, and execution. Remember to focus on the engagement dimension, because I learned that by connecting better with your loved ones, you will be a better leader. And you can do it with those special moments. You can do it sharing what matters to you, or you can do it making clear choices. But you have to take care of that engagement dimension. And I wish you that when you get that precious award, that I'm sure that you will get, you have a 15-year-old kid close to you who are able to put back your feet on the ground. Thank you.